Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's a Littlefinger. Happy Friday, September 10th. And yes, another store review, which will be the second one this week. We had a reconfiguration with the garage in update 8.2, and it was a weak garage. Slowly got some heavies added in there. And this week we have seen a lot of new tanks, so much so that I had to do a review on Tuesday. And as you might have guessed, with the Defender here in the garage, yes, it's back in stores, and that is exciting news. We'll get to that in just 1 second. But first, let's clear what's on the desktop here. Operation Landship is the battle pass this month. You're going to get 2 tanks out of that, the AMX 40, otherwise known as the duck tank. And then at level 35, you're going to get the Dreadnought. At level 70, you get the camo, so don't forget to attach this, because to me, this is really what makes this tank just look great. You've got the Mind Flayer, you've got a grenade fencing here on the top. Yeah, this is just a great looking tank. Now, it plays a little bit better than the Churchill gun carrier, just because you've got more frontal armor up here. You're going to bounce a few more shots, and it's got better traverse speed, meaning it can turn sideways better. But its slowness makes it kind of hit or miss whether or not you're going to have a good battle or not. It really depends on your positioning during the game. But it has been obviously a unique battle pass tank. And on top of that, like I said, 3,000 gold, 10 days of premium, countless amounts of credits, and all of these boosters. It's one of the best deals in the store right now, provided that you can come in every day and complete the majority of your missions. And, you know, like I said, the vaults here is where the gold is going to be, most of it. This will get up to 2,000 gold as I unlock the last one right here at level 77. So Operation Landship is certainly worthy of the $5 in my opinion. Avatars. This one's interesting. Like to know your comments. How many of you guys are spending gold on avatars? All right, so that's going to clean off the desktop garage here. So let's jump into the store and see what we've got going on. Like I said, Battle Pass, $5. If you want to skip 25 levels, it's $20. But even right now, you should have enough time to get the tank, even if you haven't purchased it yet. So anyway, wanted to jump down to the gold section here just to show you that gold is still for sale for 2 times the normal amount, 35,000 gold for $50, whereas we were normally getting that for 17,500. So keep that in mind as we go through the tanks that are for sale now. Unstoppable defenders. You're going to get the T-28, the IS-3, yes, even the Defender Mark 1 and the AMX Defender as well. So I know a couple of the front 2 tanks here have been out for a while. The last 2 are fairly new. What makes this interesting here on the offer on the left, and keep in mind, for $50, we could get 35,000 gold. So we'd still have 10,000 gold left over. But what you would be gambling on this bundle here for $50 is you've got 5 Object 260 containers with a 5% drop chance, and you've got 5 T22 containers. So 10 containers at 5% drop chance gives you a little bit less than 50% chance of getting one of those 2 tanks. So that's that extra $10 there. You don't get that in this deal, but you can easily use that 10,000 gold to guarantee yourself a tank in the store. So my guess, and it doesn't say, and this is what I don't like about the store, is it doesn't say what you would get if you already own one of these tanks, as many of you might already do. My guess, and I would love your comments if someone has purchased this, and knows for a fact, my guess is you're only going to get credits, not gold, as compensation for having one of these tanks already in your garage. AMX Defender. This is a fun little tank. It gets around the battlefield. It's got a nice big auto loader to it. And it has been quite fun to play. I believe it's a 4-shot auto loader. My favorite out of this bunch is the Mark 1 Defender here. And you can see you're not getting quite as much benefit from buying it separately. So 10,000 gold just for it. And again, it's kind of understandable. AMX has not been in the store that often. I think just one other time before. And the Defender has been in the store a few times. So we're seeing that price drop each time it comes back to the store. I still do think 7,500 is a little bit on the high side for the Defender, seeing its age and how long it's been around. And it would not be, neither of these two would be my recommendation to buy. I'd rather spend a little bit extra in gold and get the Defender, which has a very nice turret and has all of that mobility. That's the biggest downside to me for the Defender, is it's so slow. And the reload on each shell in the magazine is like 8 seconds or something. So it, again, is still pretty low. Now, I think we talked about Double Trouble on Tuesday, but wow, 2 great tanks here in one bundle for 15,000 gold. You know that the 252U is synonymous with its armor and bouncing shots, just being a troll out there to get penned. But then again, the gun is not that accurate. Whereas we've got the SU-130 PM, which has no armor, has this speed and mobility to get around the battlefield, but has a nice gun on it. So wonderful little combination here. And I love, I've talked about it before, I love seeing 2 totally different tanks and playstyles bundled together. The Kanonen, I just did a review on it. If you want to know about that tank, please check out that review. I bought this bundle here. Yes, it's too much for the tank. Believe me, don't buy it for 15,000. It's just too much. This tank is probably, in my opinion, right now, the worst Tier 8 German tank destroyer. And then there's a lot of good tank destroyers, JP2 and even the Ferdinand's probably better. But the RHM, I just don't like the fact that this tank has no armor whatever. It's got a great gun and it's got some nice mobility. Think E25 mobility. But again, if shell velocity is your main benefit, it's probably not the greatest tank. And then we've got the Shark and Chieftain combo. I am not as sold on this, but when you look at only spending $3,000 for the Chieftain, that right there is a deal. But like I said, it's a difficult tank to play just because of the cupola up here. If you're facing somebody strong, they can pen that just about every time. So keep that in mind. Again, it's the British tanks typically stay with fast-firing guns that mean you have to be on target more, which means that you can get shot in return more frequently. But again, probably my favorite American heavy tank, certainly at Tier 8, is the T-54E2, and I love this camo on this tank. You won't be disappointed if you buy the tank. Yeah, 12,500 is a little bit steep for a Tier 8, but again, solid tank all around. You can pick it up without the camo there for 10,000. And the SU-130 and the Object 252U individually here, 8,500. I think those are decent deals for those tanks individually, which then goes to show you that 17,000 for that bundle, 15,000, and you get the camos. So that's a nice little deal there. Sentinel and the FE201, if you like playing at these tiers, the Sentinels tier 6, FE tier 7, again, British tanks, Australian tank, both with that high firing gun that you've got to be on target. They've got decent armor, not great armor, and decent mobility. So all around, they play well on the battlefield. But again, you know, lower tiers, lower amount of gold. You can buy them individually there for 3,000, 2,000 each. So we've seen the lower tier tanks deals here. Each of these tanks is going to sell for 1,000 gold each. You're going to get one collect them all container with only 5% drop chance. So chances are you don't get very much out of that. This is $5. So normally that would be a decent deal just to buy the tanks and sell them. Get yourself to 2 garage slots, the 5Xs, and the container there. And because it would be 400 gold per dollar if you did that. And you can play them as long as you want and then sell them and get the gold. But as I mentioned at the beginning, gold is for sale for 2 times normal. So gold right now is selling for 700 gold per dollar roughly. Just want to scroll back up to the top just to see if there's anything. We talked about the battle pass and the tanks. I'll get to these containers here in the bottom section. Oh yeah, and I skipped over the Loza Sherman here. Really, I think this tank is for collectors. There's so many M4 Sherman tank variants out there. What's nice about this bundle is, yeah, you're getting 14 days of premium. You're getting a fun tier 6 tank to play. I love the mobility on this tank. But again, it's very much like a lot of other tanks. So just be wary of that. And so let's scroll on down here now. Premium time. And now we'll talk about these Squad of Strangers, which is a collection of all 4 of the lucky containers. Lucky's 5 through Lucky 8. $45, which works out to be what? Just over $11 per container for each one of these. So, you're sitting right in here for getting all 4 containers. What I like about this is that you are guaranteed a tank out of this, out of each container, right? So if we look at, Lucky 8 here, $23. It's a bit steep, in my opinion, considering the fact that there's obviously some good tanks in here and there's some bad tanks. Like the 121 GFT is a wonderful tank. Progetto, wonderful tank. But then you start getting into some of these other tanks, Panzer 58. You're going to be a little bit upset if that's what you pull, But I would say overall, there's more better tanks. You might be upset if you got the pilot, even if it's a good tank. My problem is that I have the majority of these tanks. Now, what I like about it and what I did earlier, and I think I showed it at the end of my Tuesday video, was maybe not. I can't remember. It's been a long week. I bought a Lucky 5 container. I have every single one of these tanks. And so what that means is I am going to then get a Lucky 6 container out of that, right? And my hope was that I would pull one of the tier 8 tanks or one of the tier 10 tanks that I was missing. That didn't happen. So I ended up getting compensation for the M60, 2,600 gold, which is really not that great of a deal considering where gold is in the store right now. It's not horrible. But again, if you have a lot of these premium tanks, chances are you might go all the way through to your Lucky 10 and pull a tank that you already have. So that there is the downside. And the other downside is obviously that you don't have the choice. You're looking at these tier 7 tanks and there's not a whole lot that I'm just in love with, so anyway, make that decision yourself. I do like that it's a guaranteed tank, right? We still have the German invasion. We'll see here. We've got obviously some very solid tanks in here, but only a 10% drop chance. So not a big fan of this set of crates here because of all of the other good things in store right now. So guys, that's going to wrap up this Friday store review. Like I said, a lot of positive things here. Let me know what you pick up in the store and if it matches your expectations. And of course, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.